Okay, coming back to the gender game section. So the guest here from us is Dr. Nancy Jennings from University of Cincinnati. Hi, Nancy. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So you just finished your presentation. Yes. How is it going?
It's going very well, thank you.
Really? Okay, good. So could you please introduce yourself first a little bit about talking about your accountability at school teaching and also your expertise or areas of research a little bit?
Sure. My area of specialization is children and media. I'm particularly interested in how children interact and become the characters that they love and engage with on television and in video games and different things along those lines. So that's my general area.
Okay, terrific. So I was curious about how did you begin this research topic? Is that related to the other panel here? Is that related to this panel?
Indeed, it is related to that panel.
Okay.
I've been interested in children and media for a long time, even before that little guy came around.
Okay.
But I really like that interaction between children and the media. That they seem to have this liking, this attachment to media characters that seems to also kind of carry through into adulthood. We have our attachments with our favorite celebrities and our favorite television shows, and we get upset when they get canceled. So, so I'm really interested in that kind of love and affinity towards media, and so that's how this all kind of got started. Okay,
so about your research, so what is the finding? What is your findings about the video games, especially for the girls, their interaction with this new medium? So what is the finding about your research?
Sure. What I was presenting today was talking a little bit about how girls in particular are playing more with particular characters. So they're playing with their, we were talking about Mario versus Peach and some of the Mario Kart characters. And it just seems like the girls are really about making connections and really about gender identification. They were making comments like, I like Peach because she's a girl and I'm a girl and we have these things that are in common. So I'm interested in finding out a little bit more about why is it that they think they have things in common, and what types of things do they think they have in common. So I think there's a big from the literature. There seems to be more of a discussion about how girls relate to media characters and how girls use media as more of a socialization and more of a social context, and so I think they're carrying that through with the characters themselves.
Yeah, it's I just figured that your research is very interesting because it's also a very hot topic in the industry. Because nowadays we can find like a lot of like game design, especially for girls, So I just hope like your research one day will like give a very good implications to the industry. So according to your research, because I got a chance to see your books, so you talk about social in this relationship to the kids and the girls' gender. Right. So could you please give us a general background of this parasocial?
So the parasocial interactions are when the character speaks through the television screen to the audience member. And in children's media, that tends to be used very well in preschool programming in particular, where the character speaks through and directly to the audience, and even incorporates pauses. The character will stop and wait for the child to respond, make an answer, and then continue on. And I think that comes even more prominent when we're looking at video games, because they do become that character. The fourth wall is kind of switched on them. They become the fourth wall, and they're immersed into the environment. So I see a really strong connection between the two.
Okay, so then that because that as the researcher, you have to do a lot of interaction or communication with kids. So just compared to like adults, so do you have any like difficulty to connect with kids, and how do you approach to them? I mean, because there is definitely the gaps, the age gap between you and kids. So how do you do that? I mean,
right. It has a lot to do with appeal and really just kind of getting into their environment and being friendly and open. And there's also there's difficulties in trying to convert a lot of the research and scales that are made for adults into scales that are usable for children. So we use a lot of pictures and icons for them to point to. So smiley faces and thumbs ups and things like that,
wow.
rather than them saying yes or no, or I strongly agree versus strongly disagree doesn't translate into child language. So so we use a lot more of like the totally and the thumbs up and the thumbs down. Instead, so.
Sounds very user-friendly method.
Indeed.
Yeah. So what is your expectation about your research to influence the industry or the future research?
I'm really hoping that we can bridge that gap between academics and the industry, so that we can make better media for kids. And by better media, I mean more quality media, things that will provide inspiration and encouragement for children of all ages, preschoolers, teenagers, all different ages, and to try to use research in an effective way, so that we can effectively create content for the children and new interfaces and all different types of things.
Well, I appreciate that, because your efforts, I think, is really good and meaningful thing for the kids' education. So is this your first time, or how long you have been involved into CSCA annual meeting?
This is my first Central States. I've been to other national conferences, but this is my first Central States conference.
Okay, so do you enjoy it?
I'm having a great time.
Okay, so what do you think that the impacts of the CSCA or other similar association to influence the mass communication research? Can you talk about that?
Yes, I think these conferences are just wonderful places for people to connect and interact with each other. For instance, on our panel, I would have never met some of Lisa's colleagues from Ohio University, because they're in Athens and I'm here. So I really enjoy going to conferences for the networking and to learn new perspectives and new ideas I hadn't thought about before.
Okay, terrific. Thank you very much, and congratulations to your presentation today.
Thank you.
And hope you enjoy the rest of the conference these days.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.